Hey everybody, welcome to Bass Talk with Freekbass. This is Freekbass, and if this is your first time stopping by here, thanks for stopping by. I am here every Wednesday night live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/freekbassmusic. Over at the YouTube page, which is youtube.com, the Freekbass channel. And we're also hanging over at Twitch, which is right at Freekbass, Freekbass. We talk bass, we talk pedals. We did a couple pedal reviews a couple weeks ago. Do bass unboxings, talk about new gear, new equipment, all kinds of stuff. And so anything that's bass related, bass guitar related, that's what we're here to talk about. I appreciate it if you're watching on Facebook. Please hit your share button so it kind of starts getting us out, the show out to a lot of people. It really helps us so much. And if you're watching over at YouTube, please, if you're digging what you're seeing, please smash the old thumbs up button and hit the subscribe. That will be much, much appreciated. So what are we here to talk about today? Today we are here to talk about how to create funk bass lines. And funk is a very, very huge word now. I mean, it's almost as nebulous as saying like rock and roll. I mean, what does rock and roll mean? I mean, there's so many styles of that, and same with funk. It's such a big genre that's ever growing, which is great. It's a lot of times people used to think of funk as a certain time period, whether it be like the 70s or the late 60s. But now, we're in a whole new era where funk is, to me, it's just like just getting started. And so there's so many, we're talking about creating funk bass lines, there's a million ways you can talk about that. And I'm just going to talk about, for me, like I like to talk about here on Bass Talk with Freekbass, it's a lot about writing those bass lines and my personal experiences with the funk. Now, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. So Ohio, I always say I've got that funk DNA from Ohio. So, whether it be Zap or Bootsy or the Ohio Players, that's a lot of where my funk comes from, which is, stems from being really heavy on the one, which is, started with James Brown. Even though James Brown's not from Ohio, King Records were in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is where so many of his hits were recorded. So that kind of got into the bloodline here in Cincinnati. And also about the sparseness of everything. And the, it's not about playing, to me, the funkiest stuff for me, and this doesn't just go for Ohio funk, whether it be, you think about the Meters from New Orleans, or even like some of Prince's stuff from Minneapolis. It's not about playing a ton of notes. It's about being, to me, the funk is much about the space as it is about the notes that you're playing. And so you heard that bass line when I first started playing here. I intentionally did it. I could have gotten, there was so much space in there. I could have put so many more fills and, little funky groove things, say, hey, look at my chops. Look how cool I can do this. But this is not about that. This is about creating funk bass lines. And, the style of funk that we're going to kind of focus on is what I'm talking about here, is about that sparseness. And I'll tell you a quick story, really quick. The very first time I met Bootsy, and, a lot of you know that I work with Bootsy a lot over the years. He produced my first few albums. I mean, he basically, got me into the music business in a lot of ways, and you know, it taught me so much. I still have to pinch myself when I think about it. But the first time we met, I got asked to play bass on a session that he was producing and engineering. And they sent me the little demo tape ahead of time. It was for this label over in Japan called P-Vine Records. And the bass line that I heard on the thing, it was kind of a simple kind of bass line. So I went in the studio with him, and we won't. I'll never know. And you know, if anybody watches this, if you interview Bootsy or talk to Bootsy, you're going to ask them yourself. But this is my impression of what happened that day. We connected a lot, and we connected both through the funk and through bass, and you know, and it was just a connection that really happened. And I think the reason why he might have been interested in the way I played bass is because here's the bass line. Let me show you. The bass line went like this. This is what they gave me. And you know what I played at that session? I didn't put a bunch of, as tempting as it was with all the space there and like, hey Boot, check me out, I can do. Look at all these cool fills I can stick in there. No, I didn't. I just said, I'm going to play just the groove and really respect the space. And so that's the biggest lesson I want to say to you today here. Creating funk bass lines, keep the box, when you first start writing a funk bass line, keep the box really slow. 1, 2, 3 notes at the most. And if you heard this bass line I just did at the beginning here, I'll play it again. A lot of space. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just playing, you know, it's in E. So I'm playing the E, the D, which is the minor 7th of E, G, which is the minor 3rd, and then I do a little pluck on the, you know, and again, as you always hear me talk about here on BASSTalk and for BASSTalk with Freekbass, it's always, I'm thinking about, you know, I'm a drummer that plays notes. So for that little, like, again, I'm thinking like drummer, just like a snare hit or a horn hit, bop, bop. You know, that same kind of thing, you know. Eventually, as the groove goes on, you can, you know, get a little crazier. But again, keep that bot. And to me, that's the funkiest stuff. You know, you think of, think about like Chocolate City, you know, by P-Funk. You know, it's super sparse, you know, and, you know, any like those classic funk bass lines you think about, you know, my favorite bass, one of my favorite bass lines of all time is Papa Was a Rolling Stone. 3 notes on that. So don't think it's got to be like, you have to be like this technical genius, you know, think about just, you know, keeping the pocket, right? Think about creating a drum beat, you know, dun, dun, bum, bum. That's what I'm doing on this bass line. Look at that space. I mean, I could go to... I mean, so much space. It's about... You know, I think I saw Questlove once in, I can't remember who he was talking about. I think he might have been talking about the drummer of, Heat Wave, maybe. It was a 4 on the floor thing. But I mean, whatever drummer he was talking about, it was the greatest thing he said. It was definitely a funk drummer, and he said he played the space hard, and I love that. And it's like, that's, you know, like, make that space so you can, like, that as much as the bass line that's like hitting you and hitting you, it's also that space that's hitting you too. It's like don't, you know, like you're feeling that as much, really. So that is what you do. So again, just like a quick little formula. Again, grab like 2 or 3 notes, take 2 notes, you know, just E and D, you know. There's my line. That's it. 2 lines, that's it. So you can add, you know, then start like I did. Same rhythm, just adding different notes, you know, and then of course that little at the end. So that is to me, that's a really good formula to have it start off. Hit that 1 really hard, and then, you know, keep that space really, just like think of the space between a kick drum and a snare drum. There's a lot of space within that time, between the time your foot goes down to the time you're hitting the snare drum. That's the kind of space you want to respect when you're writing these funk bass lines on there. Okay, so let's kind of play along with this again. Drive it home. Maybe add a little bit. And you can kind of play along with it a little bit. So you get the idea. That's the way to do it. Really, really respect that space. Don't overthink it. Keep the box small. Keep the initial notes small, 1 or 2 notes, 3 notes at tops, and try to weave in and out of those boats. You know, maybe start at a slower tempo. Like this is at 90 beats per minute I'm playing right now. Somewhere even go back as far as 75 beats per minute up to maybe 85, 90, 95, 100 tops, and then really have, you know, respect with that space. And whether you're just playing with just like a click, you know, I would do the beat. If I was programming a beat, I would just literally like that. I know this beat I have is a little syncopated, but just almost like just keep it straight forward on the floor. And then just you can really feel all that space. So that's the way I would say to kind of approach this. So let me know any questions down below. Again, please leave a thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please share. This is over on Facebook side for live notifications. Thank you so much. Don't forget to join me every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Saturday Night Chit Chat with Freekbass with a new guest every week. We got in a couple weeks, we got coming up Michael League from Snarky Puppy, which is going to be awesome for you bass players out there, and a lot of other great guests coming up too as well. So thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you next time. Peace. Love you.